I'm going to open this up now to not just newbies, but Martha Ellen.
You know, I've always heard that she sounded better in person. I'm out there in that crowd. I cannot see her at all. So I'm on my cell phone. I'm asking my husband, how many people's out there? He said, oh my God, it looks like 1,000. And I said, I can't see her. But just hearing her sing was well worth coming up here. I stood for 4 hours. I thought I was going to die.
We all did.
When she came out, even that warm-up blew me away. It is just awesome. If anybody ever gets a chance to hear her in person, whether you can see her or not, if you can just hear her, it would be well worth the trip. Thank you.
It seems as if Susan fans are just like her. My friend Mary, who I'm sure you all know, from Scotland, she invited me here. I got here from Jersey, I think maybe about 4 o'clock. And everyone who was there prior to me showing up was so friendly. I missed her. I kept pacing the place, you know, asking, is anyone seeing her? So finally, about maybe 6 o'clock, someone found her. And just being in a crowd where you know no one, you're waiting on your friend, and you're, you know, you're there, but you're not sure you're there. You guys made me feel such like I'm a part of everyone here, and no one knew me. But I mentioned her name, and it was like it's over. They said, Scotland Mary or Mary, Scottish Mary? I said, yeah. And everybody just kept, you know, made me feel at home. And I saw Suzanne today perform, and guys, if you are a fan of someone, you guys do reflect what Susan truly is. You guys are a reflection of Susan, or Susan is a reflection of you guys, and thank you so much for making me feel like, even though I was hoping she came on the plane yesterday, which she did, but if she didn't, I would miss her, but you guys took me in like a family member, and thanks to all of you. And she's my sister, and she told all of you. I saw the looks in some people's eyes. Her sister? Yes, she is my sister. And she will tell you guys how we met. But again, guys, thank you so much for accepting me, just making me feel a part of all of you guys.
Have to come again next year.
I will.
I'm not saying I've got dementia or anything, but I think I'm just so doggone tired. I'm getting confused. So last night at the dinner, we're all going around and introducing ourselves. I heard that about introducing ourselves 4 and 5 times. and then I started going downstairs and upstairs and just kind of making sure everybody, you know, was attended to. So we stayed almost till the end. And so I go downstairs, and I go into the room downstairs. A table, and everybody's all lined up, and I think, oh, it's been nice meeting you. I'll see you tomorrow at today's show and at the breakfast. And did I get a snub look you wouldn't believe? They looked at me, but they had this, I mean, I couldn't describe this expression on their face. So I thought, oh well, you know. So I walked out and I talked to the manager, and I said, well, I don't know what happened there. And he said, oh, well that's, and he gave me the name of the person. She's from 48 Hours. This is their dinner. Well, I just had to tell the manager, well, they missed their chance. Oh, this is a one thing. But anyway, so that's my little Alzheimer's story.
Show us your toes.
Oh, that's right. The toes are holding up really well. Yeah, with the rhinestones.
Yeah, rhinestones are her feet.
Okay, next volunteer.
Stevie, can I get you to sing? No?
Yes,
We want to listen to your
All I would like to say is thank you very much to everybody today and also last night. It's been a pleasure meeting so many of you. I will take happy memories back to not Blackburn, but pretty close to Blackburn. And if I do get the chance to meet Susan again, I will convey to her your thanks and the pleasure that she has given you, and you also give her, because she does value her fans very, very much, more than perhaps you realise. Okay? Thank you very much for myself and for my wife. Okay?
Thank you.
I'm with it. I wouldn't travel halfway around the world for anybody else but Susan. Sharon DC and Susie Q have looked after me just so beautifully, and everybody else. And travelling back 20 hours, I have so much in my mind, and it's been so emotional also. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
I'm retired Gran from Toronto, Canada. I had never got on a plane before, I'd never flown, but I decided that with the encouragement of my friend Greg Grandy that I would come, and it was well worth it to listen to Susan in person.
When Susan came along on the television that night, I thought, my God, she's got guts. And when I read her book, found out how wet, how tired, how confused she was getting to the Britain's Got Talent show. And when she walked out on the stage, in which we later learned, you know, how the audience were very sceptical of her talents, and she lays the voice to send out I Dreamed a Dream. And my way of thinking, that woman was really captured many, many hearts. She captured mine, and I've been to Tokyo, and my reason here today is I come from a little place called Port Kennedy in Western Australia. A long swim over, I must admit, and I've almost recovered, but I went to Tokyo once to get tickets because I thought, I'm not going to wait for Leonore in Melbourne to make up her mind whether she's going to come or whether she isn't. I'm going. And I went over, I was told to be there by 10 a.m. on the Monday morning. This was a Friday afternoon by somebody at the Buddha King Theatre tickets. And I got up to the flight centre at Warnbro, where I lived, and got the tickets, went, and got back, eventually back to home. Then I met up with many people in Tokyo, and we got on so famously together. We were 14 at the Huntsman, wasn't it?
We're the Sweet 16 now.
Yes, but the Huntsman at the hotel. I'm trying to think of the name of the hotel. And then we got the surprise. Linda gave us a surprise that we were invited to meet Susan that afternoon at the Tokyo Ritz Hotel. And then we started to live on cloud 9. And after meeting Susan and being in the room with her for an hour and a half, I think again we were just nonplussed. And so I wanted to come back to meet the people that I had shared that experience with, but to share the experience with all the others. And I've never been to the United States before. It's lovely to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. All I wanted to say is that I'm Trudine. Susan touched me emotionally from the very beginning and through all I've been through, and it was just beautiful today to see the power of the emotion that she puts into the song. And I too noticed how she reached out for Amber's hand when she noticed she was nervous, and that's all. I just was struck by the beauty of the person.
being involved in the fan club and my love for Susan Boyle, and I'm sure all of you have shared that, is special friendships that we get to make throughout the year with each other. And I have made a special friendship with the Lone Ranger. Unfortunately, was not able to be here today. Bernice flew out from Missouri to Maryland to stay with me for 2 weeks this past summer, and we had a ball. Absolute ball. It was like we'd known each other all our lives. Anyway, she wrote something, and I said, Bern, you know, I've got to do something, you know, because I just love you to death. So I want to read your poem. I think she posted it on the forum a while back when we were talking. I think there was a thread about Susan's hands. But anyway, she posted a poem. It's based on the tune that was sung by Dolly Parton called Daddy's Hands. But she rephrased the whole thing in her own words about Susan. I remember Susan's hands extended into the air, reaching out to touch me, caressing my heart with care. You could read quite a story in their movement, oh so fine. Years of work and trouble were gone and left behind. I remember Susan's hands when she sang her song that night. They expressed her feeling with an awesome sight. There are things that I've forgotten, being other people's fans, but I will always remember the love in Susan's hands. Susan's hands are soft and kind when I'm lonely. Susan's hands will carry me when I am weak. Susan's hands are always gentle, and now I understand there is always love in Susan's hands. I remember Susan's hands shaking on BGT. Sacrificed unselfishly, her mom came first, you see. At first there was laughter and a collective face of doubts. Then she sang from her heart to applause and joyous shouts. Everyone has their time to fly, and now her time has come. Singing I dreamed a dream in memory of her mom. Now Susan's star has risen, and the world now understands and never takes for granted the love in Susan's hands. Susan's hands are soft and kind when I'm lonely. Susan's hands will carry me when I am weak. Susan's hands are always gentle, and now I understand there is always love in Susan's hands. There's also one other poem. Linda Sharon, did you want to come up here, my dear, and read your poem?
If someone inspires me, I can speak from the heart, and this is just from my heart. Set aside by the tides of time, washed up like driftwood, and past her prime, teased and taunted, cruel jokes from all. She was Cinderella awaiting the ball. God saw her goodness, so he thought he'd begin to bring back the tide of life again. On the crest of the waves, he brought hope she'd thought flown. In her wildest dreams, she could never have known. But she had a talent she knew she could trust, so she plucked up her courage and stepped on the bus. The city was daunting. She wondered who cared, but she promised her mother to try way back there. The judges weren't sure, you could tell from their talk, but she dreamed to make the audience rock. They laughed and they snickered. She was used to such things. Then she opened her mouth and started to sing. Her voice soared like an angel. She sang from the heart. People rose to their feet and the cheering did start. She'd waited so long for life in the wings. Now fate was shouting, "Sing, lassie, sing!" Dreams now coming true, the world is her stage. She could sing with Donny or Whitney Lane Page. Now Susan fans in so many places, bringing joy to our hearts and smiles to our faces. A meek Scottish lady, life passed by, it had seemed. Now the world is her oyster, she's living her dreams.
That was lovely.